Hey, Seth Harris coming at you again, April 14th over here in Windsor Locks. Let me show you what we got going on today. Okay, so what we're doing today is we're starting with building this concrete landing here for this staircase. And then I got to let that fully cure, but I'm on a time crunch here, so I got to try and build my stair stringer to my landing without it actually going on the landing, so that I can figure out exactly where I want my concrete footings to go inside these holes I drilled or dug out yesterday, so that I can set those today as well, and then let those cure over the weekend so that we can then build our staircase on top of that. So here you can see we've got this hole dug here for the concrete landing. It's actually a little bit too deep. It's about 8 inches deep right now. We want it to be 6 inches deep, right? But, we were just digging it out yesterday at the end of the day, so we went a little bit deeper. The idea is we're going to level it out as we fill it back in up to the size that we want it to be. Now, it doesn't have to be perfectly level, right? Because it's just concrete going in there. It's going to be level on top when it's complete. But you want it to be at least 6 inches deep all the way around, right? So if it's not perfectly 6 inches, if it goes from 6 to 7, that's fine. It's it's still going to be flat on the top, right? But the reason you want that 6 inches deep is so that you can put your wire mesh or rebar in there at a 3-inch depth. So it's going to be 3 inches from the bottom, 3 inches from the top, right? Because that's the code. If it's any closer to the bottom or top than that, then the steel can actually begin to corrode within the concrete and break down the concrete, and therefore not end up doing its job. All right, so hence the 6-inch thickness of the slab. So we'll show you that as we go. Okay, so you can see I filled it in with dirt loosely, right? I haven't compacted it yet. Right now I'm just making sure it's relatively level, right? So it's within level range at the moment, okay? So that's all good enough for now. I'm gonna stamp this down now, right? You gotta stamp the dirt down because it's loose dirt. Concrete is heavy, right? So if I just put the concrete right on top of loose dirt, that's going to be a problem because it's going to compress that dirt down a couple inches, right? So I want to stamp that dirt down as much as I can so that the concrete landing is going to compress that dirt as little as possible once I'm done putting it on, right? All right, so there you go. I've stamped down the dirt there. And you can see it's still relatively within level, right? That's good enough. It does look like it's got higher dirt over there than over here. That's fine, doesn't matter. What matters is that our concrete landing will be level across the top. As you can see, we got these old posts back here, which are kind of high, right? I'm not exactly gonna match those height because these stairs were lower than that before. This looks just about where it should be for where the landing was before. I'm gonna go with that. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect because, again, I'm going to be taking my measurements for new stair risers to be cut from that new height anyway, so it's all going to match up when it's done. Here's another carpentry tip and trick for if you want to cut straight lines with a saw like this instead of going to grab your heavy miter saw, right? See that speed square there? Just throw that on top of your board there, and then run your saw right against it. I mean, I can't show you perfectly because I'm holding the camera, but right, you hold the speed square with one hand and you saw with the other, and there you go, you got yourself a nice straight line. Okay, there you have it. I got my concrete form built. This time I used 2x6s pressure treated because that's what I had left over from the temporary structural supports we laid out here. And 2x are a really good choice to use with concrete forms because they're nice and strong and sturdy. Concrete's pretty strong, so if you use like plywood or a 1x, you're going to have to make sure you reinforce it by packing the dirt around the side real good, which means it's going to be difficult to remove your forms afterwards. But that'll keep it from bowing outwards from the pressure of the concrete. But 2x like this for something this size, that ain't going to bow. So that's good right there. Now keep in mind, 2x6s, right? We want this to be 6 inches deep, right? But 2x6s are actually 5.5 inches wide, right? So how do you get that extra ½ inch? Well, you just put dirt underneath your 2x6 all the way around to level it out. And now you got your other extra ½ inch, right? And there you go. Otherwise, you'd have to buy a larger piece of wood and rip it down to size. So I'd say 2x6 is the way to go, and then just lift it up a ½ inch, right? The earth underneath and around is also part of your concrete form. So you can use the dirt as part of your concrete form. All right, so now it's time to fill this with concrete. Just real quick before I do though, just so you could tell, I can't actually see my camera screen right now because of the sun, but both sides are level. And yes, I did check it on the other two sides as well. I just wanted to show you, those standing there, that it is level. All right, here we go. Concrete's going in. Oh yeah, one other thing. I also made sure I measured from that post here and that post to here to make sure that this platform is square with where the stairs are actually starting from. So it'll be square in both locations when I'm complete. Now, sometimes you get certain angles that just make it look a little funky. It looks like it's a little off, but it's actually not. It might be off maybe with this line here, but it's straight on with those stairs, and that's what's important, because when our stairs fall on this staircase, right, there's going to be a little bit of concrete showing before that staircase, and we want that to be an even amount, right? The same length of concrete all the way across in front of that stairs. That's what's going to be aesthetically pleasing, right? So hence squaring it up with that there. All right.